Hello, can everybody hear me okay? I'm here. Oh, oh, good. Okay. Um, I had to wait almost 6 months for this. It's a left-eyed eye thing for doing watchmaking. Uh, hey everybody. Uh, Today what I wanted to do, hey Jack, Neil, Bruce, how's it going? Hi, howdy, howdy. Um, what I wanted to do today is I've started up again with doing watch reviews, collection reviews, and I've been getting some in, and I've been looking at them, and I was thinking about this. Well, what is a good watch collection? What does that look like? And the my idea of a good watch collection, I think, has changed. Now, just sort of put yourself in this situation. For some reason, maybe it was a magic spell. Hey, Vegas, it is that we all of a sudden out of nowhere, we said, I want to collect watches. And you didn't know anybody. Hi, Inkart, Flip, and Zippo. You didn't know anybody, and you said, "Well, I'm going to start collecting watches." And so, what would you do? Thought that was a monocle for a minute. Yeah. Well, it's not a monocle, but it's for that. Never mind. Well, let's talk about watch collection. Hi, Forrest. Um, Todd. Hi. So so let's talk about this. I mean, like, how did you come to know about watches? In my case, the first thing, two things I learned was that, well, actually, it's one thing really. Hey, Porsche. Um, the two things I learned is that if you want high resale value, get a Patek Philippe or a Rolex, and that was all I knew. Okay. And I started looking into things, and then I discovered Vacheron Content 10, and I got involved with the Hour Lounge for quite a while. And so anyway, that's so I was sort of wondering for you guys, how do we evaluate how do we even think about a oh, let's see, how do we think about a collection? Jeffrey Mason, Port Van Dale, Nick. Wow. Hi, Eddie. Uh, so when you guys think about that, is that how did you first come to think about collecting watches? Hey, Aunt G. Um, it's subjective how it collected. Okay, comes together, dude. Hey, dude, dude. Um, yeah, it is, but is that we see a collection that somebody has, whether it's subjective or not, and we say, hey, that looks like you have a nice collection. Now, it doesn't have to be expensive, but there's certain things that we tend to look for. Now, I'm going to assume a couple things. One, it's not a smartwatch. Two, it's not a quartz. But we're dealing with mechanical watches. Rich buddy, what's up? Okay, your first Rolex is a financial advisor. From there, I only bought Rolex according to visual impact. I would walk in and buy something I like, the Green Hulk, the Batman. Okay. Now, I have a collection of quartz. Okay, Howdy. Well, we're just going to talk about, I mean, a quartz collection, there's nothing wrong with a quartz collection, but here we're just going to talk about mechanical collections. Okay. Uh, Perhaps, at another day, we'll look at quartz. Okay, visual impact. Okay, visual impact is one thing. My father liked watches, passed on his interest to me, and now my kids are collectors. That's really nice. Um, so it's sort of a family thing that was passed down. I'm trying to think. my dad's watches went to my brother, and he doesn't. He didn't do a lot with them. I knew what they were. They were old Bulovas, and I think there was some old A1s or something like that. But I probably was more interested in watches than he was. I got one of the first Accutrons, and I wore it until it broke. Um, okay, so let's see. So one of the things I was thinking about a good collection, what I found is that over the years it changes what I like, and other things change too. Uh, your watches, Nelson said, watches you enjoy. Now that's important. Okay, Omega and Seiko chronographs used in space. Okay, things that have sort of some kind of connection to some historical event. Perhaps the most famous of those is the Omega moon watch. All right, since then, my collection has been mostly military history, mostly World War II era. Okay, I was looking at one today, an I think A1. I think that was it. Yeah, that those are very interesting ones. Okay, two guys follow me who were in my date chest. Figured I needed a new watch. Okay, 14. Wow. Okay. Few quartz. Yeah, I started with quartz also. Well, actually, I started with four quartz, but that's then I got a quartz when a nice Rado that a friend gave me, and I've had that for a long. Electric collection, eclectic collection is the best. Okay. Um, uh, one another direction that is possible is looking at watches in terms of certain functions, and by that I mean is that gee, well, I got a diver, I got an aviator, I got a dress watch, I've got a travel watch, I got this, I got that. Does that play a role for anybody? I mean, when you look at a watch, say, well, I've got this box checked, and I want to check this other box. If we were more general collectors, do y'all collect all sorts of things beside watches? Whoever has the deepest pockets has the best collection. And I don't think that's true. You're right to some extent. The person with the deepest pockets has the best collection. I know people with lots of money who I'm not at all impressed by their collection. I know people with a lot of money who have just wonderful collections too. So, hey, how you doing, Clyde? How's it going? We're talking about the what makes a good watch collection. So, um, that's the other thing too. Um, who's not talking about you? Okay. All right. I disagree. I started off small. Okay, definitely my collection ticks certain boxes. Yeah, Bruce, yours does. Yours is a very interesting collection. I liked it. Uh, when you said he has a lot of money. Um, oh no, what I was saying is that uh, I know people with lots of money whose collections are I don't think much of, and there are people with a lot of money who have really great collections. Some people with a lot of money, they can buy crummy watches all they want, or they can buy really good ones. The question is that okay? All right, I've been building a Rolex collection and completed it today. Bought a black dial steel Daytona from a European watch company. Comes tomorrow. I'll settle on not having a ceiling price. Ceiling price. Okay. Oh, a Cellini Prince. If you don't have a Cellini Prince, how can you possibly say, Rich Buddy, that you have a Rolex collection? That's the only Rolex I want. Okay, puts a smile on my face. Yeah, those are Arabia Felix. Those I think are the best kind. Are you willing to do a part two of my collection? You bet. Yeah, I'll be glad to do a part two. I've done part two of others. Um, a complex Rolex collection. That's amazing. Oh, a complete. I I didn't know if there's such a thing as a complex one. Okay. Row your Lex. Okay, Rolex. All right, come on now, guys. This is not a discussion for cures for insomnia. This is about collecting interesting watches. Okay. Um, Today on a Facebook, a guy brought up a question about a brand that I had sort of heard of. It's a French brand, and I didn't know much about it. So the first thing I did was that I went sniffing around and found out. And first of all, uh, they make their own movement. It's called a Royal, Caliber Royal, and so that I thought was really interesting. Then I found that they had a regulator, and then I found out that the regulator that they had a Seiko movement, which I thought was very interesting. Uh, yes, all of you guys, listen. I do want to get. I really want to have more things to review. Please look at that video that I made on getting your watches ready. Now, some people sent me like one picture of their watches. Don't just take a picture of each watch separately and shoot those to me. It's got my email address and everything else. I really want to look at these. See, to me, somebody said early on in this is subjective, and that's very true. It is subjective, but on the other hand, um, it's also it talks about the collector in wonderful and interesting ways. That's what I see it as. I see a collection, and I said, "Wow, what a cool thing!" Not because it's an expensive collection, but it's just a cool one. I mean, one of my favorite collections, in fact, two of the favorite ones I've seen was this one guy who collected nothing but Omegas. He loved Omegas. He wasn't proselytizing. He just loved them. He just talked about them and knew everything about them, and and he was crazy about Omegas. There was another guy whose collection I saw who had these weird little Tag Heuers, and they were sort of little bitty ones, and that was cool though. That was what they liked, and so you have that, but they're not proselytizing. Okay, the proselytizers. I don't listen to proselytizers anyway, but watch proselytizers I really worry about. Hey John, how you doing, man? Um, the uh, and one ball. Well, hey, you got the ball. That's interesting, Rich Buddy. It was, listen, having a complete Rolex collection is really interesting to other Rolex collectors. I think. I'm not a Rolex collector. I've seen some Rolex collections, some of which I've really liked. I happen to like other kinds of things. Hi, Crappy. Um, how does ball fit in again? I just like the looks of ball watches. I think they're cool looking. Um, so you know, I just there are a lot of watches that I may not buy, but I think they're cool. There's oh, I tell you, a watch company, well, a watchmaker. That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to find watchmakers who really are good, who are still alive. That helps. Even some who aren't, who've made some really cool watches, and trying to see where they've gone. This one I followed from the guy who did this, Marco Lang, from Lang and Hein. There's some guy in there and somewhere around Dresden who's got a lot of money, and he wants to sort of revive the Dresden area. It's sort of like the center of German watchmaking is in Glashütte. And Dresden used to be at one time, and Dresden was connected with a very elegant kinds of intellectual center in Saxony, and they're sort of trying to bring it back. And but then Munich is sort of considered. I don't know. I equate Munich with sort of a Midwestern city. I mean, it's more provincial. Um, uh, anyway, um, uh, but the thing that was interesting about Dresden, you're right, it did get it was bombed pretty badly. Most of Germany was flat. I've been reading a lot about Germany after the war. It was a fascinating period. Not only did a lot of people pay the price of following a guy like Hitler, and the Germans were they paid a high price too, and they're totally rebuilding everything. And one of the things was the uh, Clyde, are you thinking of Oktoberfest? That's what came out of Munich, München. Anyway, um, Roland Murphy, RGM. Yes, yes, yes. Todd, we had a video on his on RGM. Um, Love to hear more about A. Lang and Son from the watch community as much as I love Rolex. Um, Clyde, I don't know now. Don't say sure like that. You sound that gives you something you don't want to be. Okay. Um, I like black PVD Field and Flagler watches from Oris and Fortis. Yeah. I tell you, I have several watches with black dials, crappy, but the my problem with black dials is that I have trouble reading them as well. I have a wonderful harboring two with a black dial, little hard trouble reading it. I much prefer white dials with dark blue or black hands on it. It's just easier for me to see. There's some black ones that work pretty well, but the best black dials on watches are Rolex because they're so clear. They got those big round white meatballs for indexes, and you can see them clearly. Um, Okay, black PVD cases. Yeah, those are those are good rough and tumble watches. Will there be a HL uh HHL meetup? Um, yeah, well we sort of have one in I think it's in October at the what's it called? The Watch Time show in New York City. We sort of have a meetup then. It's a great show. Um, I would, I'd love to have all of you guys there. We could have a lot of fun. Volker, yeah, isn't that, oh, what, Volker, what about Volker? How did he come up? So he got turned off by a black box and it started to scratch in such a way that it revealed a silver medal beneath. Ah, okay, howdy. That can happen. Yeah, but I know what you mean. Like I said, my favorite black watches are Rolexes because they're nice and clear. I have quite a bit of DH and KM watches from World War II. Those are cool. Yeah, I think some of my dad's watches may be from that. I'll meet in Oklahoma City. T-bone steaks for all. Okay, we'll have T-bone steaks and tornadoes. Sounds good to me, Crappy. Um, Yeah, yeah, that's the one, the watch time. Hey, listen, you guys. In fact, you can still get tickets. They have the cocktail party and dinner the night before, and then they have the show all day, and all of these great. You can meet all of these great people. Um, so I mean, like Kerry Boot and Lana, I met him. I met year before last was Christine Hutter, who was the head of Moritz Grossman. Um, Marco Lang. Also, I talked to on two different occasions. Roland Murphy was there. The guy is head of RGM. That new guy who makes that incredible watch that won the men's division. Uh, I always forget his name, but it's he was another new one. T-bone ribeye. Okay. Um, you have to wear a mask. uh, the only person that has to wear a mask is Clyde. The rest of us, we don't need one. Okay, so let's we get off the topic. This is something. Let's see. Is there a German watchman who's almost cracked the code, but I think he went mad and didn't deliver on what he promised? Volkit. Oh yes, 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 yes. Inkhart. I know who you mean. You're absolutely right. And this guy was amazing. But like you said, he didn't deliver. Now I know who you're talking about. Yes, there was such a guy, and I think it was one of the problems. He was moving right along. People were ordering watches, and finally got to the point he just couldn't deliver on what they were. Yeah, you're right about that. I've forgotten about him. Um, okay, so let's go back and talk about some kinds of types of collections. Um, and the type of collection that I see is that some like the brands, some people like a single brand like that Omega guy and a Tag Heuer guy. I think a lot of Rolex guys, a lot of Patek Philippe people like the same brand. Uh, I know a guy who's FP Journes, just got tons and tons of FP Journes. What I started talking about were different kinds of watches. I think I sort of put myself in that category. There's certain kinds of brands that I really like. Um, this particular one I like because of the trigonal bridge. Instead of having these big plates covering everything, there's a trigonal bridge on it, and all of the it's called the going train. I think I mentioned that, or I am on an upcoming video, one of the two. But the going train is the all of the gears that move in a watch's movement. Um, yeah, most Rolex guys like the same brand. Yes, they. That's uh, okay. Yeah. Uh, so, what are some other things? Sometimes watch brand surprises you. Yes. Wax Jeffrey, absolutely right. And those are fun. I love surprising brands. Um, and I like them in two ways. A lot of times, some of these unknown brands have really good watches. Nobody's interested in them, and they have uh, they end up being really good. And the reason because they're not popular, oftentimes they're not very expensive. Hey Tom, yeah, you need a note from your girlfriend while you're late. That's Tom. Uh, collect divers, diverse divers. Yeah, yeah. That's it really doesn't matter. Chronos, yes, Clyde. That's a good example. I've got one chronograph, and what I want is a Rattrapant, and I have a model Rattrapant. it's it's sort of weird. I mean, it's like having a one-handed watch to do two things, like like a one arm paper hanger. It's really busy. Um, Okay, so you have that kind of thing. James, well, I don't know why. James, tell me, why is it Rolex or Patek Philippe? Uh, I haven't seen a lot of stuff that is other than the Cellini prints that is really exciting. There are some really nice. Um, there's some very nice Patek Philippe's. They have a little more diversity. Um, Value retention. Yeah, 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 yeah. I told you about that. I'm gonna get my $20 bill, tape it on my wrist, and wear it for a week, and get all my money back. I don't know. To me that doesn't excite me. Collect chronographs almost exclusively. Omega, Hamilton, Seiko. Okay. Um, Parmi, yes, every Parmigiani. I love those watches. What about a Rolex Cellini Moon Phase? Boy, yes, I do like that, Michael. Thank you. That's a great one. I do like the Rolex Cellini Moon Phase. Sometimes I forget about the Rolex has other Cellinis other than the prints that I want. They don't make anymore. Some of the other ones, one that I discovered, I'm not sure why I like it so much, is the Vacheron Constantin. I think it's called a triple date something or other, and it's got a 4400 movement in there, same one that my 1921 has. I don't know why I like it, but I do, and it's not too as like I think I've seen them new for around 14, but it's still that's a lot of dough. There are other ones. There's too many ones I like. That's my problem. Um, yes, Clyde, you're right. I don't want a Parmigiani. I want Clyde's. That's exactly right. I that Hebdo de Mari. I may have said it wrong, but that is a cool watch. I believe that is the only manual wine that Parmigiani makes, and Clyde got it. Somebody else, I think it was Art Letter. There was this watch. I said, "Wow, it's a cool watch." And Art went and bought it. So I got to keep my mouth shut. Hey, William, what's up? I'm not gonna kid myself. Value retention means nothing to me because I'm never gonna sell a watch I like. Yeah, I'm somewhat the same way. Sometimes I'll get a watch that I really like, and then I won't. I don't know. As I learn more about this and that, I don't like it. One watch I traded because I was mad at it. That's crazy. We should examine the different types of collecting approaches. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mason, that's exactly what the kind of idea that I had in mind. Yeah, that's that's right. Love to be someone working with the Brazilian Football Association. Okay, James. Tell me about that. Why would you be working for the Brazilian Football Association? They had a bunch of watches that were made for something I know, and they came out with a number that they had. Is that what you were thinking of? Is it worth experiencing a precious metal watch besides steel? You know, um, I I've got a white gold, I've got a platinum, and I have lots of stainless steel watches, and I can't tell the difference. So it used to, I thought, well, that'd be sort of cool to have that. I've got yellow and rose gold. The yellow and rose gold I tend to like a lot, especially the yellow gold ones. But you know, it, the thing that I'm most interested in is the movement, and in this one, the movement is just incredible. Let me see if I can get this thing off, and here we go. Uh, what I like about this one, and one of the reasons I wanted it, I don't know how well this is going to show up. It's got the trigonal bridge, is that little bridge down the middle, And rather than having plates all over the place and a bunch of bridges, it's got a couple bridges. It has the balance cock and it's engraved, but the rest of it is just a work of art. And it's got solid gold wheels on it. And I don't know why they have solid gold wheels, but they do. Now, to me, this is really an interesting watch, and it runs at 2.5 hertz. It keeps perfect time, and it's just it's been everything I hoped it would be. And but it's got the metal. I got the stainless steel case for it because the gold part that I was interested in is on the inside, and that's fine. Okay, like a Las, what is a Las Vegas watch, Richard? Um, I don't know what a Las Vegas watch is. I know, one thing. Las Vegas is a place that has a lot of good watch stores. I mean, if you go to Las Vegas, they have tons of good watch stores. It's like Miami. Miami really surprised me to find out that was a big place for that. It was made for the World Cup. They dumped them on Auctionata, and that Auctionata went bankrupt. Ah, Michael, thank you. Were those Parmigianis? I think they were, but I'm not sure. Something funky and exotic like a Glashütte 60s green. Yeah, I like that one too. That is a neat watch. Um, this one is one that I wanted for a long time, and it's a Christian Vanderclaw. I've always wanted one. Now this is one. It doesn't have one of their manufactured movements. It's got a Soprod movement in it, which is essentially a type of Seiko. It's sort of Soprod took it and souped it up. Um, and but I like it. It was one of those things. And Christian Vanderclaw's got he does the astronomical things of it. I'd love to have what's called a real moon, journe, I think is what they call it, by Christian Vanderclaw, and it's got a little three-dimensional moon. And the whole thing is by Christian Vanderclaw. Yes, Parmigiani Persians. You're right. I thought that was it, but I didn't remember. Something flashy was like a U-blow or something. Um, Funky and exotic. Yeah. U-blows they're a little more interesting than I realized. For some reason, there was just a lot of people hate them. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, it's sort of like they're the Rolex haters. What's wrong with these people? I don't think Rolex haters hate Rolexes. They hate the owners that go on about them. No offense to those of you who are big fans of them. I think that's neat. You should like your watches. We try to justify our addiction by thinking a number of dimensions, precious metals, genre, brands. Watch can have meaning that will always have a gap to fill in our collections. Oh, Javier, I mean, you must be the adult supervision they came to this group. Of course, you're right. Um, Tonda, yeah. Um, the Tondas really have quite a very complex line of watches. The My Hemispheres is a Tonda. My Parmigiani Hemisphere, another one of those watches I really like. Um, they have a few pieces I like, but overpriced for what they are, in my opinion. Um, okay. Seems many watchmakers are going back and recreating some of their first watches. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, to me, I do tend to like what I consider simpler watches, and by simpler I mean they have a function in it. Like this has got the interesting function for this is the moon phase, and if you're gonna have a moon phase, why not have one by someone who is a horological, astronomical watchmaker. Value retention is another way to justify a collection to our significant others. I don't try to justify those to anyone. That's the only thing that I worry about for that. Value retention. If I were a flipper, then value retention would mean a lot to me. If my idea of enjoying watch collection is buying a watch, having it for a while, and then flipping it, yeah, hey, boy, I tell you, I'd get Rolexes and Patek Philippe's. That would be, and then I could hang on to them for a while and boop, flip them. And so, the flipping is, some people like that. I don't. Every now and then you want to, retire a watch and get something for it, but by and large, that's not my major focus. Parms are great pieces, especially the previous Culpas with the round movements. Michael, I tell you, I do like the old Culpas. Like mine, is not only does it have a round movement, but it's got a gold rotor. But the one that I really like is that Hebdo de Mare, which has a shape movement. I like shape movements a lot. Um, yeah, Parms. Yeah, no. I generally like the idea, the extent to which you have a watch that the shape of the movement matches the shape of the watch, and the Hebdo de Mare does that very well, I think. This is why I got this is my Maurice Lacroix. The reason I got it was that it has a shape movement. That's my outlaw movement by Jacquet. Shopwarm is giving them away, and I know they were great buys, and now most of them are gone. There's only like, I don't know how many they had, but boy, those things went poof. They really went quickly, and I got one of them. That was where I got my Hebdo de Mar, my hemispheres. Was from them. I got a great buy on them too. So, and like you said, they were giving them away. Not exactly. They also had a run on their H Mosers. The ones were on the lower ones. Man, those things went very quickly, and the only ones they have left now are a little more expensive ones. Um, Ball Watch came out with a moon phase and tide indicator. That to me is an interesting thing. You can buy a Palm really cheap in South Florida. Yeah, you can get some great deals on them. Hi, Ian, something. How's it going? Um, well, I tell you, it's just wanted to think about that. Now, I've got to go in a second. Hi, Jamie. Um, he's the guy. James bought all of them. He bought all the Parmigianis. He's 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 got a great collection. Um, anyway, the what I want to do is really take a look at that little video I did for your watch collection. Really would like to review a variety of different ones. We're having one on Sunday, and I got some other people who sent in partial. they, I asked them to do some stuff, but send in one for each of your watches. Send in one good picture. Doesn't matter how big it is. I mean, don't worry about the size. I can get them to fit, but don't send in these little bitty ones because when you expand those, they become pixelated and they don't look right. Um, so yes, I would be very interested in your collection. It doesn't have to be a rich collection. Any collection, and the thing that makes the collection the most interesting is the story that goes with it. How you came to have a certain watch or a certain kind of watch. Um, I've got a great story about the about Natasha smuggling in a watch from the Ukraine. Story that I almost took her up on. So anyhow, um, got to run, and thank all of you for coming. And today's Wednesday. Hope to see you Friday. And then on Sunday, we're going to have, we're sort of starting up. We haven't had a review for a while, but hope to have one every week. And that depends on getting things. So take care and hope to see you Friday.